When Gu Yanjin encountered thugs, I rushed to save him without hesitation. I was beaten badly, and just before I lost consciousness, I saw a gleaming knife slashing towards my face. When I opened my eyes again, I found that I was disfigured. Gu Yanjin looked at my face with disdain, frowning as he took out a 5 million yuan check. Menchi, although you were disfigured to save me, no man would want to keep such an unattractive woman by his side. It's repulsive. His words stabbed my heart like a knife. Chapter 1. When I opened my eyes again, I was lying in the hospital. My throat dry. I was startled by the sound of my own voice, so hoarse and unpleasant. Menchi, you're awake. Hold on, I'll get you some water right away. I turned my head stiffly. It was Andrew, Gu Yanjin's close friend. After drinking the water he handed me, my throat felt less dry and painful. I couldn't wait to ask. Andrew, how is Yanjin doing? Andrew looked somewhat uneasy. Yanjin is fine. After you fainted, his people arrived quickly. As long as he's okay, that's good. I sighed in relief but then asked in confusion. Why didn't he come? Is he too busy with work? Andrew hesitated, which made me realize something was wrong. What's going on with Yanjin? I grew anxious. You're his best friend. Tell me what's really happening. Andrew hesitated. Yanjin is fine, but you? Me. Andrew seemed to make a big decision. He left the room and returned with a mirror. When I saw the scarred face in the mirror, I let out a scream. Ah! Who is this? Who is in the mirror? My hands trembled as I grabbed Andrew's sleeve, my eyes full of pleading. It's not me in the mirror, right? Andrew's silence forced me to face reality. Desperately, I asked. Is Yanjin unwilling to see me because I'm disfigured? He sighed. Menchi, you're a good person. Forget about him and live a good life. I couldn't accept this reality. I needed Gu Yanjin to tell me himself that he had given up on me. I started frantically calling and texting him, but he never responded. A month later, just as I was about to be discharged, something changed. Gu Yanjin appeared in my hospital room without any warning. At that moment, Andrew was carefully applying medicine to my face. Seeing him, I couldn't stop my tears. Yanjin, you finally came. I knew. My voice stopped abruptly when I saw the check. Gu Yanjin's face showed an unfamiliar look of disgust. Here's 5 million. Don't pester me anymore. I broke down. Is it because of my face? But I became like this to save you. He said cruelly. Even though you were disfigured to save me, I can't keep you by my side. Your face makes me sick. Andrew snatched the check and tore it to pieces. Gu Yanjin, we grew up together, and I never thought you'd be like this. Menchi doesn't need your filthy money. I'll take care of her from now on. Gu Yanjin looked at us playfully. I didn't expect my good brother to have such heavy tastes, not only liking disfigured women but also picking up my leftovers. Gu Yanjin, you jerk! I couldn't hold back any longer and punched him in the stomach. Gu Yanjin's face turned pale, and he pushed me to the ground with force. Panting, he said. Xia Menchi, you were just a toy by my side. Did you really think you could keep me with that disgusting face of yours? With that, he turned and left, leaving me crying on the floor. I deserved it, falling in love. But I was not willing to accept it. He once said he would love me for a lifetime. Chapter 2. Gu Yanjin, Andrew, and I were college classmates. One of us was an orphan struggling to get by, while the other two were heirs to powerful corporations. Logically, the three of us should never have crossed paths, but fate had other plans. After graduation, Andrew told me about a part-time job with high pay. I eagerly went, only to find out it was a carefully planned confession by Gu Yanjin. I will never forget that day. Gu Yanjin blushed, and under the encouragement of the crowd, he held a bouquet of flowers and seriously said to me, Xia, I've liked you throughout college. Would you give me a chance to take care of you? On a whim, I agreed. We spent 2 sweet years together. Just when I naively thought we would be together forever, an accident made me see reality. Yes, our statuses were worlds apart. How could he possibly marry me? After being discharged, Andrew rented a small house for me, filled with flowers. But I had no intention of taking care of it. I tried to attract Gu Yanjin's attention by self-harming. Andrew, can you send my self-harm photos to Gu Yanjin? He's blocked me, and I can't reach him. I don't believe he won't feel bad when he sees them. Seeing my crazed state, Andrew gently touched the numerous scars on my arm and pleaded. Menchi, please don't hurt yourself like this. Forget Gu Yanjin and live a good life. I knelt down, helplessly grabbing Andrew's sleeve. Andrew, help me one last time, just this once. He will definitely come to see me. Finally, under my desperate pleas, Andrew agreed. Even though Gu Yanjin didn't reply, I stubbornly believed he would come. After waiting for a month, Gu Yanjin finally appeared in the yard. Seeing him, I was overjoyed. I ran to him, throwing myself into his arms. Yanjin, I knew you wouldn't easily abandon me. You once said you'd take care of me for a lifetime. Gu Yanjin pushed me away, gently touching the numerous scars on my wrist, and softly asked, Does it still hurt? Crying, I shook my head. Seeing you, it doesn't hurt anymore. The next second, his hand suddenly squeezed, and the new scars split open, blood gushing out. He gritted his teeth and questioned me. Xia Menchi, is this fun for you? How old are you, still playing the self-harm game? Look at your status, look at your face. Who could match up to you? You really make me sick. For the first time, I saw Gu Yanjin's face so twisted. With his increasing strength, I felt my wrist being crushed. At that moment, Andrew arrived. He angrily threw the lunchbox he was holding at Gu Yanjin, spilling food all over him. Andrew's voice trembled. Menchi, your wrist is bleeding. Let me bandage you. Gu Yanjin sneered. Andrew, why are you so concerned about this ugly freak? Don't tell me you've fallen for her. Unexpectedly, Andrew blurted out. Yes, I've fallen for her. My love for her is no less than yours. Everyone was stunned. Ha ha ha! Gu Yanjin laughed hysterically. I didn't expect this ugly freak to beg me for a reconciliation while hooking up with Andrew. You've really opened my eyes. He laughed until tears came out. Fine! Then I wish you both a happy life together. Chapter 3. After Gu Yanjin left, Andrew and I didn't speak. Finally, Andrew broke the silence. You must be hungry. Let's go eat. Andrew took me to a 5-star hotel. He ordered a lot of food, but I had no appetite. Andrew kept putting food on my plate. Menchi, please eat something. Seeing his hopeful eyes, I reluctantly picked up my chopsticks. But after one bite, I couldn't help but throw up. Menchi, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? I'll take you to the hospital right now. Andrew hurriedly took me to the hospital for a checkup. When we got the results, we were both stunned. Congratulations, you're 2 months pregnant. The baby is very healthy. I stared blankly at my flat stomach. There's a child from Yanjin and me. The ride back was silent. Finally, Andrew couldn't help but ask. What are you going to do with this baby? Touching my belly, I said. I want to keep it. Menchi, are you crazy? He treated you like that. I smiled bitterly. But I still love him. He may forget our 2 years, but I can't. Andrew was silent for a long time. Finally, he sighed. All right, I'll support any decision you make. Back home, I thought about how to tell Gu Yanjin the news. He had blocked all my contacts, so I decided to write a letter. During our relationship, he often praised my handwriting. I hoped it would remind him of the past and make him less cruel. I sent the letter, and 2 days later, I received a reply. He gave me an address for a private room to discuss things. Excited, I wrapped my face carefully and set off. But when I arrived, I only saw Gu Yanjin's stepmother. In my memory, she was always a gentle and knowledgeable woman. Disappointed, I asked, "Did Yanjin not come?" She stared at my belly. "I heard you're pregnant. Let me see your belly." My heart raced. I had a bad feeling. No, I just wanted a way to see Yanjin. If there's nothing else, I'll leave. I turned the door handle, only to see two bodyguards outside. They immediately restrained me. The woman slowly approached, then kicked my belly hard with her 5-centimeter heels. "Sorry, but Yanjin doesn't want this baby." So all of this was arranged by Gu Yanjin? I felt dizzy, and a warm stream flowed between my legs. Soon, I lost consciousness from the pain. In a daze, I heard a man crying. "Menchi, I'm sorry. I promise I'll avenge our baby." Why does that voice sound like Gu Yanjin's? But my eyelids are so heavy, I can't open them. The man's voice faded in and out. I couldn't hear clearly. I only caught the last sentence. "Menchi, I love you. I'd rather give up my life than abandon you. Please wait for me. I'll come back and beg for your forgiveness after I've handled everything." After struggling for a long time, I finally opened my eyes. But I saw Andrew, looking exhausted. My eyes were dull. "Is my baby gone? Menchi, you're still young." Tears streamed down my face. Maybe this was the best outcome. Andrew's eyes reddened. "Menchi, please, for my sake, pull yourself together. Let's leave this place." When I opened my eyes again, they were filled with relief. Why make myself so miserable for a man who doesn't love me? Gu Yanjin, as you wished, we have nothing to do with each other from now on. Chapter 4. Andrew took me to a new city. He rented a small house and spent every day tending to the garden with me. Seeing the lush new life, I found a reason to live again. 2 years later. "Menchi, look what I bought for you." Andrew came in excitedly with a beautifully decorated cake and a bag of groceries. Seeing my surprised expression, he laughed. "You silly girl, you must have forgotten today is your birthday." I suddenly realized, yes, today is my birthday. I quickly tried to help with the groceries, but Andrew stopped me. "Don't move. How can the birthday girl cook today? Leave it to me." He made me laugh. He looked at me lovingly. "Menchi, you're still as beautiful as ever." I touched my face, still feeling the uneven scars. Those deep cuts from back then could never be fully healed. I joked. All right, the birthday girl is waiting for dinner." Andrew didn't make me wait long. He soon brought several dishes to the table. After making a wish, Andrew shouted, "Come on, birthday girl, cut the cake. You're so eager. Do you really want the cake that much?" Suddenly, the cake wouldn't cut through. Suspicious, I glanced at Andrew. He avoided my gaze. I found a small box inside the cake. Opening it, there were several bank cards with a note. "Passwords are your birthday." "What's this?" Andrew gathered his courage. "Menchi, I need a wife to manage my money. Will you be my wife forever?" Seeing me silent, he continued. "Menchi, do you know how long I've loved you? 8 years. Since freshman year, I've loved you, but I pushed you into someone else's arms. The old me was weak and useless, causing you so much pain. Now, I beg you to give me a chance to spend the rest of my life with you." I asked, "Do you really not care about my past?" Andrew answered seriously. "I love everything about you. What you see as a shameful past only makes me feel more protective of you." I took the bank cards, and Andrew nervously swallowed. I put the cards in my pocket, lifting my head proudly. "All right, seeing how sincere you are, I'll give you a chance to spend the rest of your life with me. Ray, really? Andrew stuttered. He excitedly picked me up and spun me around. I finally have a wife. I was infected by his joy and joined in the fun. 2 years, even a stone would warm up, let alone a heart. It was time to accept someone new. After confirming our relationship, Andrew became even more attached. He didn't mind my scars, calling them a symbol of my bravery. He didn't care about my past miscarriage, saying he only felt sorry for what I'd been through. He often lay in my arms, asking when we could get married. This time, I kissed him. Want to get married? We can do it now. What's the saying? Marry a good man when you find one. He jumped up excitedly, hurriedly grabbed the household register, and took me to get our marriage certificate. The moment we got the certificate, Andrew cried. After all this time, I finally have you. Don't worry, wife, I will treat you well. Chapter 5. But soon, we faced a dilemma with the wedding. I was an orphan, but Andrew was the heir to the Chu group. If we were to marry, we had to go back. Andrew held my hand. Wife, we can skip the wedding and go on a honeymoon instead. No, I'm not a mouse hiding in the dark. Why give up the wedding because of some bad experiences? In the end, we decided to go back. Returning to familiar places, my feelings were complicated. The news of the Chu family's heir returning after 2 years to get married attracted a lot of attention. People speculated about which girl had captivated Andrew enough to marry young. Listening to the gossip outside, I touched my face in the mirror. What if people laugh at you when they see my face? Who dares to laugh? I'll tear their tongue out. Andrew made me laugh, easing my nervousness. Andrew's love was enough. Why bother with rumors? Finally, the wedding day arrived, and the world saw the bride they had been talking about. The moment I appeared, the room fell silent. Andrew held my hand firmly, solemnly swearing. I, Andrew, will be loyal to Xia Menqi for life. If I betray her, let lightning strike me. I smiled sweetly, my world filled with his voice. Clap! Clap! The sudden applause was jarring. Seeing who it was, my expression froze. After 2 years, Gu Yanjin had become more mature and unfamiliar. Andrew nervously shielded me, forcing a smile. What's the meaning of this, Yanjin? What's my meaning? Gu Yanjin laughed. I'm here to congratulate my good brother on marrying such a wonderful girl. Brother, you must treat her well. For some reason, it seemed like Gu Yanjin was about to cry. Gu Yanjin continued. I envy you. I've dreamed of this moment, but I lost my girl. She'll never forgive me. Andrew was annoyed. Gu Yanjin, are you here to cause trouble? Today is my wedding with Menqi. He emphasized my name, snapping Gu Yanjin out of his daze. He smiled bitterly and left. Andrew finally relaxed. I felt it was ridiculous. Was Gu Yanjin trying to show his deep feelings today? Wasn't he the one who abandoned and hurt me? How could he face me? Aside from this incident, Andrew handled the other details well, and the wedding ended satisfactorily. I never saw Gu Yanjin again. 6 months later, news of Gu Yanjin's stepmother dying in a car accident filled the papers and news. I couldn't help but smile. What goes around comes around. The heavens will deal with those who do evil. Just then, I heard a commotion outside. Soon, the security guard came to me. Madam, Mr. Gu is drunk and insists on seeing you. Andrew was more nervous than I was. Gu Yanjin is here? Get him out. The guard lowered his head in fear. Sir, please don't make it hard for me. I'm just a small guard. I can't offend him. It's all right. I'll see Gu Yanjin myself. Let's see what he wants. Chapter 6. Andrew and I walked to the front gate, and Gu Yanjin scrambled to his feet as soon as he saw me. He was clearly drunk, slurring his words. Menqi, you finally agreed to see me. I know you hate me, but there's so much misunderstanding between us. I have so much to tell you. His eyes were bloodshot. In the past, my heart would have broken at this sight. But now, I only felt his hypocrisy. I responded coldly. Gu Yanjin, I am already married. I don't think there's anything left to say between us. No, things weren't what you thought. The thought of you hating me is worse than death. Back then, Enough, Gu Yanjin. Andrew punched Gu Yanjin in the face, warning him. Menchi is living a happy life now. Do you want to ruin her peace? Andrew, you know exactly what you did. You jerk, give Menchi back to me. With that, Gu Yanjin and Andrew started fighting. When my attempts to intervene didn't work, I slapped Gu Yanjin hard across the face. He finally snapped out of his daze, his eyes filled with despair as he looked at me. Gu Yanjin, I don't know what madness has struck you today, but I beg you to let me go. From the moment you let your stepmother harm my child, all I've had for you is hatred. He looked lost. Fine, I'll let you go, and I'll let myself go too. Back in our room, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off about Gu Yanjin's words. Andrew, is there something I don't know about? Wife, don't overthink it. Gu Yanjin is a pathological liar. Why would you believe him? Let's just ignore him and focus on our own lives. Hearing Andrew say this, I nodded. The truth was right in front of me, yet I still yearned for a twist. Xia Menchi, you are truly ridiculous. 3 months into our marriage, I became pregnant. Wife, we're going to have our own child. Andrew excitedly pressed his ear against my belly. The baby is kicking me. So strong. I chided. The baby is too small to kick yet. Andrew gave a silly smile. When I was 5 months pregnant, Gu Yanjin emerged from among several brothers to officially become the CEO of the Gu Corporation. During an interview, a reporter asked, Mr. Gu, you've become the CEO of the Gu Corporation at such a young age, a truly remarkable achievement. Do you have anything to say? Gu Yanjin gave a bitter smile. But I regret my past choices. I lost the love of my life. If I had another chance, I would choose her without hesitation. This became the entertainment headlines, and everyone speculated about who Gu Yanjin's true love was. When I saw this interview, I could only laugh. Was building a persona also one of his business tactics? At that moment, Andrew hugged me from behind. Wife, the doctor said pregnant women should walk more. How about I take you to Haihu Park for a walk? Haihu Park? My thoughts drifted back to the past when Gu Yanjin and I often walked hand in hand, admiring the flowers there. But things had changed. Now Andrew, my child's father, stood by my side. Chapter 7. At Haihu Park, while we were taking a stroll, we ran into Gu Yanjin. His eyes focused on my swollen belly, and he suddenly said, If our child hadn't died, they would be starting kindergarten by now. Thinking of the lost child, my anger surged uncontrollably. Gu Yanjin, why are you pretending to be sentimental now? You were the one who abandoned me and our child. Menchi, you're pregnant. Don't get worked up. Andrew quickly comforted me, then coldly looked at Gu Yanjin. If you don't want to cause Menchi more pain, stay away from us. Andrew seemed very afraid, but I didn't know what he was afraid of. Gu Yanjin sneered. Andrew, aren't you worried that the happiness you stole might disappear one day? I was confused. What are you two talking about? What is it that I don't know? Menchi, I will let you go, but I will never let go of you. If I could do it all over again, I would give up everything just to be with you. Gu Yanjin continued to speak nonsense, and Andrew pulled me away. Menchi, he's just a madman. We should stay away from him. Back home, I felt anxious, as if things weren't as they seemed. But I was afraid to know the truth, fearing I couldn't bear it. I touched my belly. Baby, mommy just wants you to grow up happy. Up until my due date, Gu Yanjin didn't appear again. Lying on the hospital bed, I felt different. I was about to meet my baby. Andrew paced nervously in the room, making me laugh. You're not the one giving birth. Why are you so tense? The love of my life is about to give me a baby. How can I not be nervous? Childbirth is like a brush with death. What if something happens to you? How would I live? All right. I interrupted him. Can't you say something positive? You could at least talk about my reward after the birth to motivate me. Andrew looked frustrated. You see my poor choice of words? As long as you come out of the operating room safely, I'll reward you with a big house. I smiled happily. Soon, contractions started and I was taken to the operating room. But childbirth was so hard. I felt like my bones were breaking. In a daze, I heard the doctor's voice. Quick, resuscitate the patient. Andrew, if anything happens to Menchie, I will kill you. If anything happens to Menchie, I won't forgive myself. I will go with her. It's so noisy. Why are these two men fighting again? I wanted to stop them, but found my hand passing through their bodies. I turned around and saw myself lying on the hospital bed, covered in medical equipment. Had I died? Before I could think further, I heard Gu Yanjin say, I was afraid Menchie would get caught up in my family feud, so I asked you to take care of her. I didn't expect you to betray me. Andrew's eyes were bloodshot. But my love for her is no less than yours. Besides, Menchie already thought you abandoned her and the baby. Blame yourself for not letting go of that little bit of family property. Chapter 8. What? So Gu Yanjin hadn't abandoned me after all. He was protecting me. The overwhelming information made my head spin, and I quickly lost consciousness again. The patient's fingers moved. She's waking up. Slowly opening my eyes, I was still in the hospital room. But only Andrew and a doctor were there. Andrew hugged me, crying, Wife, you were unconscious for 3 days and nights. If something happened to you, I wouldn't want to live. Did Gu Yanjin come? My sudden question made Andrew uneasy, but he quickly calmed down. How could he come? Did you have a nightmare? Looking into his eyes, I couldn't see any lies, so I nodded. Maybe. Just a nightmare. With careful recovery, I was discharged a month later. I had given birth to a son, the first grandson of the Chu family. The Chu family was overjoyed and threw a grand celebration for the baby's 100-day feast. Gu Yanjin also came. I went to a secluded spot, and as expected, he followed. Andrew was busy with the celebration and couldn't be with me all the time. I looked into his eyes. 2 years ago, when I miscarried and was unconscious, did you come to the hospital room? He didn't answer, but I already knew the truth. Taking a deep breath, I said, Gu Yanjin, just tell me the truth. I'm married now. No matter what the truth is, we can't go back. I just don't want to live in confusion. He was silent for a moment, then suddenly lifted his shirt. I saw several scars on his chest and abdomen. The answer seemed to be right there, and my heart ached. When did you get these wounds? He gave a bitter smile. When you were disfigured and unconscious, I was also stabbed several times and was in critical condition for over 10 days. So I missed all your calls. Later, despite the doctor's advice, I went to the hospital to see you and said those harsh words to protect you. I couldn't let those people know you were my weakness, even though my heart was breaking. I suddenly remembered that day in the hospital when I hit him, and his face turned pale instantly. Unfortunately, my emotions clouded my judgment. In hindsight, everything made sense. With a trembling voice, I asked, What about the child? The child, it was that wicked woman. She intercepted your letter to me and then harmed our baby. Gu Yanjin's eyes were filled with rage. But I avenged our baby. I threw her body into the mountains to feed the wild animals. Andrew knew all along, but he still took you away. The truth was out. I closed my eyes in pain. I thought Andrew was my salvation, but he had lied to me so horribly. When I opened my eyes again, they were filled with determination. All right, I understand. Gu Yanjin, let's not see each other again. The light in Gu Yanjin's eyes dimmed. He opened his arms cautiously, pleading, "Can I hug you one last time? Mr. Gu, please respect yourself." This sentence shattered him. "Fine. If Menchi doesn't want to see me, I will never disturb your life again." Gu Yanjin staggered away. Watching his back, I couldn't hold back my tears. Sometimes love is not enough to be together. Since we missed our chance, let's live our own lives. I don't want to disrupt my current peace. But soon, I wiped away my tears and became the stoic Mrs. Chu in the eyes of outsiders. Chapter 9. Gu Yanjin kept his word this time. He never appeared before me again. As our child grew day by day, Andrew continued to be a great father and husband. To outsiders, we seemed to have a happy and fulfilling life, but I could never feel truly happy. Andrew noticed my mood, but I brushed it off as postpartum depression. Since then, he treated me even better, almost absurdly so. When our child turned 2, Andrew came home looking like he had something to say. "We're husband and wife. Just say whatever you need to say." He struggled for a while before finally speaking. "Gu Yanjin seems to be dying. How about you see him one last time?" My first reaction was to think he was joking. Bad things live 1,000 years. How could Gu Yanjin possibly die? But Andrew wouldn't joke about something like this. Seeing Gu Yanjin on the hospital bed, tormented by stomach cancer and reduced to skin and bones, my heart skipped a beat. When he saw me, he managed a smile before passing away without saying a word. The doctor beside him said, "He was holding on just to see you. Now that he's seen you, he can finally let go." I felt deep sorrow, but couldn't cry. I asked Andrew, "How did Gu Yanjin end up like this so quickly?" Gu Yanjin often drank heavily. After being diagnosed with stomach cancer, he refused treatment and continued drinking. "Oh, and he left a will, leaving all his assets to you." Gu Yanjin rarely drank before. We all knew the reason he started drinking heavily. But my face showed no emotion, eerily calm. "All right, let's go home." Gu Yanjin's death didn't change our lives. Andrew and I continued to love each other, raising our child and enjoying the happiness he brought. But no one ever mentioned Gu Yanjin again, as if he had never existed. 50 years later, Andrew passed away peacefully. A few days before he died, he suddenly had the energy to make me a bouquet of handcrafted roses. I laughed, asking why he was doing something so youthful, but he seriously replied, "Love isn't just for the young." After he passed, our son worried about me being lonely and arranged for our granddaughter to stay with me. One day, my granddaughter found a photo and excitedly asked, "Grandma, who is this handsome grandpa in the picture?" I put on my reading glasses and looked at the photo, the image of someone I had nearly forgotten becoming clear in my mind. The photo was so old that I couldn't remember when it was taken. In the photo, Gu Yanjin and I were standing close together, while Andrew shyly looked at me. It was the only photo of the three of us. Andrew must have cherished it enough to keep it. Faced with my granddaughter's question, I didn't know how to explain our complicated relationship, so I smiled kindly. "Oh, I'm old and forgetful. I don't remember who that is." 3 years after Andrew's death, I passed away in my sleep. Chapter 10, Chu Huai's Side Story. Loving the same girl as my best friend was a deadly thing. For 4 years in college, I knew Gu Yanjin loved Xie Menqi, but no one knew that my love for her was no less than his. After college, I personally brought the girl I loved and my best friend together, which became my biggest regret. They dated for 2 years. Seeing Mengqi's smiling face, I kept telling myself to let go. The turning point came 2 years into their relationship when both Menqi and Gu Yanjin were rushed to the emergency room. Before this incident, Gu Yanjin had been worried. He told me about his family's situation. In a ruthless wealthy family, one cannot have a weakness. And his weakness was Xie Menqi. "Andrew, if I break up with Menqi, you must take good care of her. I'm afraid she might do something drastic." I agreed without hesitation. "Don't worry, even if I have to die, I won't let anything happen to Menqi." Not long after this conversation, they fell into Gu Yanjin's stepmother's trap. Menchi was disfigured, and Yanjin was critically injured, fighting for his life for over 10 days. When Menchi woke up and asked about Yanjin, I didn't know how to answer. I didn't know how to tell her that she was disfigured either. Accepting reality is always painful. Watching Menchi starve herself for Gu Yanjin, I felt both heartache and jealousy. If Menchi had been with me, she wouldn't have been disfigured. A month later, despite the doctor's objections, Gu Yanjin came to Mengqi's hospital room and said many hurtful things. But I knew his pain was no less than Mengqi's. Menqi couldn't accept that Gu Yanjin didn't love her anymore. Seeing her waste away, I was anxious. But what made her give up on Gu Yanjin was the unborn child. I didn't know Menqi had written to Gu Yanjin until I received a call from someone who had alerted the police. They found Menqi unconscious in a private room. When Gu Yanjin found out, he cried and knelt by her hospital bed, repenting and swearing to make those who hurt them pay. I held him back. Yanjin, go do what you need to do. Don't worry, I'll take good care of Menqi. When Menqi woke up, she believed it was Gu Yanjin's idea, completely losing hope in him. I took the opportunity to suggest taking her away. I brought her to a new city, rented a small house, and spent my days taking care of her and tending to the garden. Hard work pays off. 2 years later, I proposed, and she agreed to marry me. I didn't plan to return home for the wedding, feeling guilty about facing Gu Yanjin. But Menqi insisted, and I had to comply. On the wedding day, Gu Yanjin found out who I was marrying. After the wedding, he confronted me. He punched me, but I didn't fight back and calmly said, "If I get hurt, Menqi will worry." Gu Yanjin stopped hitting me. He demanded, "What's going on? Why did you marry Menqi? Why did I marry Menqi?" I laughed coldly. "You abandoned your disfigured girlfriend and planned her miscarriage. Why do you think she would wait for you?" His face turned red with anger. "But you know that's not the truth." But Menqi believes what she saw. We're already married. Telling her the truth now would only cause her more pain. Gu Yanjin, if you truly love Menqi, you should let go. I admit I was despicable. I was betting on Gu Yanjin's love for Menqi. Clearly, I won the bet. In the following days, Menqi and I lived like an ordinary couple, raising our child. Menqi had a severe hemorrhage during childbirth. After she recovered, I treated her even better, so much so that she often teased me, saying I must have done something wrong. When our child turned 2, Gu Yanjin reached out to me. Only then did I learn he was terminally ill. "Andrew, can I see Menqi one last time?" I didn't know what I was afraid of, but I refused firmly. Every day after that, Gu Yanjin persistently called me. The last call came from a doctor. "Mr. Chu, Mr. Gu wants to see Mrs. Chu. It might be his dying wish." In the end, I couldn't bear the torment of my conscience and told Menqi. Surprisingly, she remained calm, even when seeing the frail Gu Yanjin. She showed no emotion. After Gu Yanjin's death, our lives returned to normal. And this secret stayed with me until my death, never revealed. Menqi, please forgive my selfishness. In the next life, I will find you faster than anyone else.